the number has grown to 130,000 per year. Now, it's interesting where these people are coming from. They're not coming from a contiguous nation, Mexico. No, they're coming from much farther away. According to new numbers from HHS, 32% of unaccompanied migrants they're seeing are from Honduras. 47% are from Guatemala. Look at a map. 13% are from El Salvador. Those are far away. Those are in Central America. Just 1% are coming from Mexico. What's going on here exactly? Well, mostly they are teenagers. The overwhelming majority are over the age of 14. They're not little kids. And again, this is accelerating. And it didn't stop during the last administration. The Trump administration didn't stop it. Under media pressure, that administration agreed to end so-called family separations at the border. Really, they're inhumane. But the fact is, family separations happen all the time to American citizens. If you commit a crime, you're going to be separated from your kids, and NBC News won't care at all, much less report it. But illegal aliens, dreamers, shouldn't be forced to face these consequences, explained the New York Times. So now they're not faced to, because they're dreamers. So naturally, the surge continued. But why? Why? Typically, a country calculates its immigration levels based on its internal needs. So all throughout American history, there have been periods where, oh, we need people to do this or that. Let's import those people. But based on the state of the U.S. economy in 2022, these are not the people you would import if you cared about your country. Almost none of the arrivals have a meaningful education. They're not trained to participate in the emerging economy you hear so much about. STEM plays no role in this. There's no economic justification whatsoever for these levels of immigration. And of course, immigration destabilizes your society. It makes it far less cohesive. That's always true. It doesn't matter where they're coming from. If you have a ton of new people, you're less cohesive. So why are they coming? Well, there's only one reason. Because the Democratic Party wants new voters. Period. That's not a racist conspiracy. It's a racist no, it's not. It's true. And we know that it's true, not because we heard it on Alex Jones, but because leading Democrats have said so repeatedly in public for years. And here's the latest example. Here is Chuck Schumer, the head Democrat in the U.S. Senate, last month.
Now more than ever, we're short of workers. We have a population that is not reproducing it on its own with the same level that it used to. The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers, and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here.
Everything about that was a lie. We need workers, really? There are, 7 million American-born men who have dropped out of the workforce age, who just aren't working, who are on the internet all day? Does anyone care? No. Just replace them. Americans aren't reproducing. Really? Why? Well, because the economy has changed. And what's their answer to that? The Democratic Party's answer? Well, the Treasury Secretary told us a month and a half ago, she said, if you're worried about the economy, have an abortion. People who want to have kids increasingly can't. Why is that? Well, because the food supply and the air and water have been poisoned and sperm counts are half what they were a few decades ago. So these are specific problems that have prevented millions of Americans from having families, from reproducing, as Chuck Schumer just said. And you could fix them if you tried, but they're not trying. Instead, the solution is to replace the people who aren't reproducing with millions of new people from other countries. That's not a racist conspiracy theory. Chuck Schumer just said it. However many undocumented there are here, Schumer added. So as a political matter, what is this? Well, you're hearing a lot about threats to democracy. This is an actual threat to democracy. This is an actual effort to disenfranchise American voters. It's an attempt to replace their vote with a new electorate. So this is incredibly dark. And it's not a referendum on the people coming here, most of whom are, well, they want to be here, so that says something good about them. No. This is a measure of the intent of the people in charge, the malice behind what they're doing. So it's hard to believe this could become law. This could be codified since Republicans just took over the House. Oh, but it could be in the lame duck session, which does not represent the recently expressed will of voters last month. A month ago, voters cast their ballots and they said, we would like a Republican House, and they got one. But that's all about to be short-circuited. New reporting suggests that Democrats and several Republicans are working on a deal to pass mass amnesty for millions of illegal aliens before the new Congress can be seated. Kevin McCarthy, the incoming House Speaker, has promised not to hold a vote for any immigration bill until the border is secure, because it would be insane to do otherwise. And yet several Republican members of the Senate are trying to pass a mass amnesty before the new Republican Congress is seated next month. Leading that effort, and should become famous for this, is Tom Tillis, the Republican senator of North Carolina, joined by Democrat Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. According to Axios, between 10 and 12 Republican senators could join this plan. And that would include names you're probably familiar with: Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mitt Romney of Utah, and, as we said, Tom Tillis of North Carolina. Then several retiring senators, Rob Portman, Roy Blunt, Richard Burr, are also being courted to support the bill. Imagine someone who's on his way out of Congress in days will be codifying a law that will change the country forever. So how are they justifying this? Well, clearly their donors want it, right? Because cheap labor is always the justification for everything. It's a short-sighted view. Tom Tillis is saying this is okay because it will only offer amnesty to the dreamers, Barack Obama's dreamers. Illegal migrants supposedly came to this country as young people. So by offering amnesty to dreamers, what will happen next? Well, what happened last time? The U.S. Congress will incentivize more foreign nationals to flood into the country. And that's the whole point of it. It's why Obama did it a decade ago. So what will happen to our economy, which is at the verge of a real downturn? Everyone knows that. Well, let's see. The average dreamer is 28 years old. 28 years old. The average income, the median income of dreamers is $26,000. That's far lower than the median income of Americans. So that's not an attack on anybody. It's only a simple observation. If the country is getting poorer, you probably don't want a lot more poverty imported. Again, why is that untrue? Well, it is true, and everyone knows it's true, and no one has the brass to say it out loud, but it's real. And by the way, we have no idea how many dreamers or other illegal aliens are in this country. The Biden administration has been working with the government of Mexico to hide those numbers for 2 years now from the public. Yeah, so much for your democracy. The Center for Immigration Studies just exposed this in one of the most important investigations from the border in a long time. Watch.
After this short bus drive from a Mexican government shelter across from Calexico, California, Mexico's Immigration Service will hand them over to their American counterparts at an official port of entry, with temporary legal status papers already in their folders. Once CBP processes them in, they're all released to begin permanent lives working in American cities of their choice. These ones and thousands more entering the same way all along the U.S.-Mexican border won't have illegally crossed a river, won't have hiked through brush, and won't have paid thousands to cartel smugglers. Maybe most importantly to the Biden administration, they surely won't end up in the historically swollen, politically problematic illegal crossing statistics. Instead, Biden's DHS legalized these people before they could commit the illegal act they intended when they left home. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection pre-approved all of them while they were still in Mexico.
So that was, what's the word for that? Or that'd be immigration fraud being committed by the Biden administration, hiding the numbers so you don't realize how many people are coming into your country illegally. You have no role in this whatsoever. Now keep that in mind when you learn that the Tom Tillis lame duck bill will include, quote, $25 to $40 billion for border security. Now, that's actually a lot, not as much as we're giving to Ukraine, because of course their border is a lot more important than ours. Shut up, racist. But it is billions more than Donald Trump asked for to build the border wall. And at the time, senators in both parties said that was just way too expensive and racist. And people just build taller ladders, okay. But now the same group is fine with $40 billion for border security. Why is that? Because they know it's fake. They know it's fake. You can build any structure you want, but if the officials manning the gates, like on January 6th, just to open the doors, it's meaningless. And of course, Tom Tillis knows that, to his eternal shame. How out of it is Tom Tillis? Well, watch Tom Tillis, who clearly has no grounding in the physical reality of America 2022, tell you that letting all these people in, giving them citizenship, is a good idea because really what we're importing is computer scientists and engineers. Watch Tom Tillis.
I've tried to tell anyone who thinks that we just need to find more computer scientists, more data analysts, more people with advanced degrees from the U.S. population, that they need to wake up and recognize if we want our economy to continue to grow, if we want to continue to build on this great economy, that we've got to look to legal immigration as a critical part of fulfilling our workforce needs and really growing our innovation economy.
So that's just a word salad of phrases Tom Tillis doesn't understand, of course. But think about that. In the last 2 years, thanks to COVID and the manufactured response to it in this country, our public education system has completely collapsed. Kids are not being educated. We're not producing programmers, partly because of policies that Tom Tillis stood by and allowed to be enacted under COVID. But rather than fix that, we need to legalize millions of dreamers and give them citizenship. So if you really wanted a lot of computer programmers, there are a lot of them around the world, you would make an active attempt to identify them and import them. And then you could tell us why. But to let in people without high school educations by the millions because we need more computer programmers, now you're just lying to us, Tom Tillis. How stupid do you think we are? Pretty stupid, apparently. So what's the border actually look like? Well, Charlie LaDuff, our reporter friend from Michigan, formerly the New York Times, has been to the border recently, spent a lot of time there, caught a lot on video. Here's some footage that tells you who's actually coming over.
In the last 2 years, how many people have made their way into the United States?
I think last year was over 2 million. And the year before that, I think just under 2 million. And then you have the unknown number of people that are gotaways that we have no idea that got away. And then you look at the people that are overstaying visas. I mean, that 11 million number of illegals in the United States is just a fantasy.
New York complains about 1,000 a month. And we have 1,000 a day,
Yeah.
2,000 a day.
Yeah, this right here is probably 350 right here. In the meantime, probably a mile downstream, they're probably running a bunch of dope because all our people are tied up over here with this. That's why they send them in big groups.
So most Americans, because this is a pretty big country, have no idea the scale of this. It's been going on for 2 years, and it will completely change this country forever, and it's continuing, and nobody is doing anything about it. And no one seems upset about it. Is Tom Tillis upset about this? No, computer programmers, reading his stupid libertarian talking points from 1996. We're going to have a lot more footage from Charlie LaDuff from the border, and it shows you what's actually happening there. And a lot of people crossing are nice people with families that just want to work and hang drywall, and that's great, and everyone supports that. Quite a few of them, though, are drug smugglers. Actually, that's true. This is all being orchestrated by the cartels, and some of them wind up killing Americans.
I have 5 motion-activated cameras. I've got 2 way back that way and 3 back in the ranch here. It's a very poor sample because I've had over 100 trails coming through the ranch. And so 5 over 100 is only 5%. And on those 5 cameras, between February and October, 2,500 images. An intelligence officer with the Border Patrol told me that he believes 20% are carrying drugs. On this ranch, we've been here 35 years now. It's a wonderful ranch, except we are very ticked off that all these drug packers are coming through my ranch to poison our American people.
So the closer you get to the border, and this is true of Republicans and Democrats, Hispanics, whites, blacks, none of that matters. Any American who's close to the border is horrified by what's going on there. So the only way that you could support this is by intentionally ignoring what's happening there, like Tom Tillis is and Lisa Murkowski and Joe Biden and all the rest. Today, our Peter Doocy asked Biden, who's going to be in the area soon, are you going to go see the border while you're down there? Watch this.
Why go to a border state and not visit the border?
Because there's a more important thing going on. They're going to invest billions of dollars in a new enterprise.
There are more important things going on, right? What's actually happening is the Biden administration ended the policies that would have stopped this flood of unaccompanied minors at the border, and now they want to make the problem even worse, and they're doing it for a reason. They're telling you what the reason is. You're not allowed to notice, but it doesn't make it any less true. This is real. This is happening. No one's stopping it. Republicans are colluding to allow it to continue. Stephen Miller is a senior advisor, was for 4 years to President Trump. He implemented many of the policies that the Biden people canceled. He joins us tonight. Stephen Miller, thank you so much for coming on. So it's a little, when you look at pictures of what's actually happening at the border, when you see the numbers, 5 million people in 2 years, totally changing the American population, how could Tom Tillis and Murkowski and Romney, how could they support giving an amnesty in the face of that?
Because they support unlimited immigration into this country. They believe fundamentally, as a philosophic matter, that Americans aren't up to it. Americans can't cut it. The American middle class is no good. Its values are useless. Its history is useless. Its aspirations mean nothing to them, like the dirt that you walk on the ground. So, of course, you need to bring in new people. And I would say that on the Dreamer point specifically, it is the most insidious form of amnesty that any country could ever consider. Because the message to the world is, smuggle a child into this country and that child will be rewarded with U.S. citizenship. And what you will have, and what we're already seeing, is a wave of illegal minors being brought into this country of biblical proportions. Just to put this into numerical perspective, in 2020, when we used Title 42 to adopt a 100% repatriation policy for minors, we achieved the lowest levels of minor crossings since pre-Obama amnesty times. You talked about DACA in your opening. So before that, no one had ever seen numbers that were that low of minors before this whole thing started. Then Biden came in, and despite warnings from Border Patrol, he said that minors are exempt from Title 42, the automatic expulsion policy. We have now seen almost every single month under Biden, let this sink in, almost every single month under Biden, the number of unaccompanied minors who have entered the country is higher than every single month in American history before Biden. Every month, almost without exception, is higher than any month in all of history before Biden. And in that environment, Sinema and Tillis and others are saying, let us codify the idea that smuggled minors are Americans for life. It's insane, Tucker.
Well, I mean, it's encouraging human trafficking, Tom Tillis. That's what you're doing, and you know that's what you're doing, but you're doing it anyway. Stephen Miller, appreciate your coming on. Thank you.
Thank you.
So a remnant from last month's midterms, the final Senate race, the runoff election in Georgia today. Polls have closed, so of course we go with great pleasure to our friend Bill Hemmer, who's at the big board for us. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Tucker, good evening to you. Got a bit of a mixed picture right now. It's early on the night, frankly, and it looks like it could be a long night. This is the current runoff here. The difference, Warnock leading Walker by about 100,000 votes. The difference between the two candidates, you got about half the vote in accounted for. Now, I want our viewers to know that we're talking about small percentages here and there. As we go around this map in the rural areas of Georgia, you see a point gained here, a point lost there. So these are small margins, but they matter in the end because 4 weeks ago, Tucker, this was the outcome. Warnock beat Walker by less than a point, okay? So that's how thin this race could be throughout the night. So that was 4 weeks ago during the midterm. Let's come back to the runoff tonight and show you a few things that we've noticed, especially the rural counties right now. Can't say it empirically, but a county like Franklin County up here in the Northeast, what I would direct our viewers to see is that Walker right now, with just about 99% of the estimated vote in, is about 86.6% in that county. So where was he percentage-wise 4 weeks ago? Watch it here. He was at 84.7. So in that county, he's outperforming by about 2 points. Now, conversely, I could find other news. Let me clear that off here and come down to, if I can get it right here. Yes, okay, this is Putnam, and then this is Baldwin County. A lot of people consider this to be a bellwether. Why is that? Because it tends to go the way the rest of the state goes. So right now, not all the votes in. And again, a lot of the early vote is counted first. That's the early in-person vote. It trends blue, okay? So we just want to caution viewers throughout the night as we go as well. Remember 4 weeks ago, Warnock had the lead. Walker caught him around 10 o'clock Eastern, then Warnock went ahead around midnight that night. So right now, Warnock's at 50%. Let's go back 4 weeks ago and see Warnock was at, okay, so Warnock has gained about a point. And I could go throughout this entire map, Tucker, and show you good news for Walker and good news for Warnock. And again, right now, it's too close to call. A lot of these blue counties around Atlanta, that's where your population lives. Fulton County ranks 1 out of 159. You've only got half the vote in, so you've got a lot of votes to go here in Fulton County throughout the night. Warnock, pretty good number. You expect it to be that high, and I'm going to show you, Tucker. 4 weeks ago in Fulton County, he wound up with 73.5% of the vote. So then Warnock's got some, Walker's got some time as we go through the votes in Fulton County, Atlanta. So you can mix and match and find some good news for either party right now. We'll see how it goes throughout the night. Tucker, back to you.
49% counted. Bill Hemmer, who may be there for a while. Great to see you, Bill.
Bet.
So Elon Musk promised more documents from Twitter over the weekend. Remember that first dump came on Friday, but then the documents never came. Why is that? A remarkable story, actually. Twitter's general counsel, Jim Baker, the former general counsel at the FBI, the guy at the center of Russiagate, appeared to subvert the release of those documents and just got fired a few hours ago from Twitter. Incredible story unfolding now. Details after the break.
The world doesn't come together like this very often. But when it does, the results can be extraordinary. Qatar is committed to that idea and growing its potential as a partner, investor, and innovator with possibilities that are unlimited and rewards that are priceless. Let the world play and become part of our story.
My name is Greg. I'm very passionate about training in martial arts. There's no martial art that's better than the other. It's whatever works best for you. But everybody needs the same kind of nutrients, and we don't always get those. It's impossible to eat all these fruits and vegetables. Balance of nature is fruits and vegetables. So this is actually what your body needs every day.
As a special holiday offer, get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice with your first preferred order. Use discount code Fox News.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to bring you my Giza Dream bed sheets for the best offer ever. We're all experiencing rising prices, but I was able to secure a limited amount of Giza cotton for a great price, and I'm passing those savings directly onto you. You can get my Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98 with your promo code. They're the most luxurious sheets ever, made with the world's best cotton. It's grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. I know my sheets are perfect for you, and I'm extending my 60-day money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1st, 2023, making them the perfect gifts for your friends, your family, and everyone you know. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save 50% on my Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.98. Quantities are extremely limited at these amazing prices, so please order now.
I don't own a single stock or bond. I know, I'm Mr. Amtrak. I know I'm called Middle Class Joe.
Lunch pail Joe, middle class Joe. The truth of his lifestyle is the opposite.
The Biden family amassed a fortune.
As in comedy, with corruption, timing is everything.
There's multitudes of evidence of criminal behavior by Hunter.
Anytime Hunter had a business deal to do, Joe was there.
The FBI, the intelligence agencies, and the American news media.
They simply decided we don't want the American people to know about it.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source.
The Bidens got some $31 million from Chinese businessmen.
Hunter Biden and Jim Biden had defrauded me.
CEFC was dismantled. The Biden family still made millions.
Within hours of our story going live, Twitter shut us down.
You have to fight the cancer of corruption.
Tonight on the Ingram Angle, the Georgia Senate runoff comes down to the wire. We will have all the up-to-the-minute results at 10 p.m.
These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine.
Well, she doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to Coventry for cash, even a term policy.
Even a term policy?
Even a term policy!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine. Call Coventry Direct today at 800-496-9200 or visit coventrydirect.com.
High blood pressure is known as the silent killer, and right now it's more dangerous than ever before. But did you know you can lower the risk naturally? Introducing Respirit, the first ever FDA-cleared medical device, clinically proven to lower blood pressure.
The results I got from using Respirit were astounding. The blood pressure this morning was 110/79.
Respirit's patented technology continuously monitors and guides your breathing into the therapeutic zone, causing the muscles surrounding the small blood vessels to relax so blood flows more freely and blood pressure is reduced. Multiple clinical trials report 82% of Respirit users reduced high blood pressure, and Respirit is the only American Heart Association recommended device for lowering blood pressure. We are so sure that Respirit will work for you, we guarantee it. If you don't lower your blood pressure in 60 days, you'll get your money back.
It's the best investment I've ever made in my life.
To watch a product demonstration or to buy, go to Respirit.com now.
So we told you on Friday about the internal documents from Twitter that Elon Musk released, gave to Matt Taibbi, who wrote about them, and then they told us, Taibbi and Musk, said that this is just the first batch. You're going to get a lot more in days to come, over the weekend and yesterday. But they never came. That's kind of weird. The deadline came and went. What happened? Well, we learned today what happened. This weekend, Matt Taibbi and Barry Weiss, who's helping him do this reporting, found out that the general counsel of Twitter, that would be the former FBI general counsel, James Baker, had been vetting the documents before Taibbi and Weiss could see them. In other words, removing the ones that might incriminate him or the feds. Apparently, even Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, didn't know this was happening. Now, keep in mind, in case you're looking for evidence of sinister intent, this same Jim Baker was one of the architects of the Russia collusion hoax in 2016. This is the guy who obtained the fraudulent FISA warrants and targeted Michael Flynn, for example. So this afternoon, Elon Musk fired Baker from Twitter. Quote, in light of concerns about Baker's possible role in suppression of information important to the public dialogue, he was exited from Twitter today. An amazing story that just happened. So to make sense of it, we are happy to be joined by Miranda Devine of the New York Post, who's been at the center of the story for over 2 years. Miranda, thank you so much for coming on. What do you make of this?
Hi, Tucker. Well, look, as you and I discussed on Friday night, it was pretty obvious that the Twitter files that had just been released were missing a crucial element, and that was the FBI. So, we surmised that somehow Elon Musk had redacted it, or someone had withheld the information about the FBI's
May I ask you to pause right there, Amanda? Miranda, you were the only person who said that, actually. It wasn't me, it was you. You were the first person. You took a look at those documents and you said, someone has taken out the incriminating stuff. And I think you were the only person to catch that. So I just think you deserve credit for it.
Thanks. Well, so the FBI, we knew, had pre-bunked to the social media platforms our story. Before it came out, they told them to expect a pile of Russian disinformation, and Twitter was told by the FBI, we know from Yoel Roth, to expect that it would be in October and would probably refer to Hunter Biden. So we knew that there had to be something about that at Twitter, and yet there wasn't in the Twitter files. And it was pretty obvious who was suppressing that information, who was the person with the biggest motive. It was Twitter's top lawyer, James Baker, who, as you just said, had been the top lawyer at the FBI, the quarterback of the FBI Russia collusion scandal. And he had to leave the FBI because of that. And lo and behold, he shows up at Twitter 5 months before the 2020 election. And lo and behold, one little element did come out in the Twitter files Friday night. It was this one email that had the date and time removed from it, very peculiarly, but it was from James Baker, and it was weighing in on the decision on the morning of October 14, 2020, a few hours after our story came out, and there was James Baker weighing in on the side of censorship. No surprise.
Amazing. And as you said at the very outset, this is not just a story about free speech on social media. This is a story about the corruption of the FBI, federal law enforcement. And you were absolutely right. Miranda Devine, vindicated once again.
And Tucker, look, yeah, Elon Musk needs to let all the information out. Let us all see it. No more of this curating and holding back.
No, it's ridiculous. I appreciate it. Thank you, Miranda.
Thanks, Tucker.
Well, as we pointed out before, the DOJ knew that Hunter Biden's laptop was real. It wasn't from Russia because the FBI had seized it back in 2019. But they wanted to hide the contents of the laptop. It would be the evidence of corruption in the Biden family, selling access to the U.S. government, because there was an election taking place weeks later. And there really was corruption, actual corruption. And we thought this needed a long-form explanation. So we just made a documentary on it. It's called Biden, Inc. It's out today on Fox Nation. Here's a preview of it.
Put yourself in the position of the Chinese, if you're in Chinese intelligence or the Chinese Communist Party, and you wanted to infiltrate the United States government. Who are you going to reach out to? Were you going to reach out to one of Obama's daughters? I don't think so. You could do your own research, and I'm sure they did it, and Hunter was low-hanging fruit, and they targeted him from multiple directions, and that all culminated in the fourth quarter of 2015, while Joe was still the sitting vice president of the United States.
The first partner to approach Bobulinski was a British national called James Gillier.
James Gillier, a successful businessman in his own right. I developed a very, very close and trusting relationship with him. He basically communicated in shorthand. You notice he won't use the word Hunter, he'll use the word H. He won't call, I think he calls Joe in a couple of text messages, but he won't call it the Biden family, he'll call it the B's and stuff like that.
The three other partners came from Joe Biden's inner circle. Rob Walker, a longtime political operative close to the Biden family, Joe Biden's brother Jim, and Joe Biden's son, Hunter.
But the dominant thing that they were bringing to the table, and Hunter says it crystal clear in his own words, was the Biden family and the history of Joe's political career.
Bobulinski and his partners formed a company called Oneida Holdings. They communicated mostly over text, WhatsApp, and email.
Oneida Holdings was a Delaware LLC that I set up and our lawyer set up. And that was to formalize the agreement that we had between the partners.
Through Oneida, Bobulinski and his partners would own 50% of a company called Sinohawk Holdings, which Bobulinski also created. The other 50% would be owned by a Chinese official, Chairman Yi.
At that point, he was a Forbes 40 under 40. People believed he was worth tens of billions of dollars, getting awards all over the world.
Yi was a Chinese billionaire who ran CEFC. That would be the capitalist side of China's One Belt, One Road global infrastructure investment project. Chairman Yi's top aide, called Director Zhang, is a CCP official with close ties to Chinese President Xi Jinping.
There's zero chance that CFC, one of, I think, the 5 largest private companies in China at the time, would have had any interest in doing business with Jim Biden or Hunter Biden unless Joe was the sitting vice president of the United States.
Sinohawk was their big break. Unlike other business ventures like Burisma, the Bidens had an ownership stake in this project, and they expected to get enormously rich.
CFC was talking about deploying billions of dollars, and Hunter and Jim Biden and the Biden family expected to make hundreds of millions of dollars from this, if not billions of dollars.
It's actually not a very complicated story. These people are not geniuses, but it did need 20 or 25 minutes just to lay it out. And once you see it, it's extremely clear. It's indisputable what happened. It's called Biden, Inc. Part 1 is out right now on Fox Nation. Part 2 comes out tomorrow. Actress and our friend Kirstie Alley passed away last night. I'll tell you about her life after the break.
Everyone goes to bed. Not everyone goes to sleep. Like so many of you, I have a really busy life. I couldn't turn off my brain to relax and sleep soundly. That all changed when I found Sleep by the Relief Factor Company, a 100% drug-free, non-addictive sleep supplement that leaves me feeling restored and rested. It's more than just a good night's rest. It's about how I feel the next day. I just love my energy, ability to focus, mood, and my zest for life. Get yours now for the introductory price of $19.95. Sleep better, feel better, and more rested. Call 1-800-4RELIEF to order now or go to relieffactor.com/sleep. It not only helps me deal with stress and anxiety from lack of sleep, it calms my mind and allows me to wake up refreshed. Invest in yourself, invest in your peace of mind, and feel the difference with Sleep by the Relief Factor Company.
WeatherTech gift cards have the power to wow everyone on your holiday list, offering a variety of American-made products.
WeatherTech, nice.
Like floor liners, cargo liner, tablet holder, boot tray, cup phone, sink mat, pet feeding system, anti-fatigue comfort mat, and more. Order the WeatherTech gift card instantly for the perfect gift at WeatherTech.com.
This is an important message for everyone on Medicare. Attention, everyone on Medicare. Today we are talking about Medicare Part C. If you don't have a 2023 Medicare Advantage Part C plan, call now because there may be plans with extra benefits simply not covered under Medicare Parts A and B. Everyone on Medicare is encouraged to call now. If you don't have a Medicare Part C plan, you could be missing out on dental benefits or savings on prescription medications. Call now during the Medicare annual enrollment period. We will check to see if you may be missing out on a Medicare Part C plan with extra benefits. Call the number on your screen. Don't wait. The deadline for the annual enrollment period is December 7th. Call now to speak with a licensed insurance agent. You don't get a Medicare Part C plan with extra benefits automatically, so call now before the deadline for your free, no obligation 2023 Medicare benefits review. Just call 800-454-1178. 800-454-1178. This is an important message for everyone on Medicare. Attention, everyone on Medicare. Today we are talking about Medicare Part C. If you don't have a 2023 Medicare Advantage Part C plan, call now because there may be plans with extra benefits simply not covered under Medicare Parts A and B. Everyone on Medicare is encouraged to call now. If you don't have a Medicare Part C plan, you could be missing out on dental benefits or savings on prescription medications. Call now during the Medicare annual enrollment period. We will check to see if you may be missing out on a Medicare Part C plan with extra benefits. Call the number on your screen. Don't wait. The deadline for the annual enrollment period is December 7th. Call now to speak with a licensed insurance agent. You don't get a Medicare Part C plan with extra benefits automatically, so call now before the deadline for your free, no obligation 2023 Medicare benefits review. Just call 800-454-1178. 800-454-1178.
Hi, I'm Angela. I've lost 58 pounds with Golo, and I've kept it off. I suffer from autoimmune hypothyroid, and I always thought it would be so difficult to lose weight. But with Golo, it simply wasn't.
It was the night before Christmas, when there on the couch, you sat on your tuchus and vegged like a slouch. You watched and you ate with a heart full of gloom, when suddenly Washington came in the room. A Christmas miracle, could it be true? He changed the channel to PragerU. It's on your TV and your smartphone, too. A gift to your brain cells to save your IQ. And just how high could your IQ go? If you never try, you'll never know. Make a tax-deductible donation at PragerU.com.
This is a keepsake frame. This is actually a photo from my wedding. I'm Adam Weiss, founder and CEO of Keepsake, the mobile app that makes it easy to have your photos printed, framed, and shipped to your doorstep. You just choose a photo that you love, you can preview it in over 100 frames, and in a couple of days, you're gonna receive your photo in a beautiful, handmade frame. So if you've got a special photo on your phone, install the free Keepsake app. We would love a chance to frame it for you.
It's Fox Nation's once-a-year sale. Enjoy 50% off all yearly plans with our special offer. Catch our most festive shows, including Christmas at the Greenbrier and a Yellowstone Christmas. Don't miss out. Sign up for Fox Nation today and get 50% off all yearly plans.
Like everybody else in America, we watched Kirstie Alley on television and in the movies for nearly 40 years. But of course, we had no idea what she was really like until she visited us for a long-form interview about a year and a half ago. What a remarkable person she turned out to be. Humane, wise, smart, funny, warm. It's hard to convey all those qualities in a single soundbite, but this may give you a taste of it.
I think probably as a whole that the Hollywood community, they're good people and they do have strong political views.
Yes.
They have strong, human rights and just, civil rights, and they have strong views, and I do think that they can have an effect on the rest of the world in a good way. Not always, but in a good way. So I understand people's views, and so when I would see people that I knew or people I've praised a lot, like on Twitter and gone, oh my God, I saw you in this movie, you were so brilliant, or this or that, they like all that. And they're over there talking about maybe this time the opposite. We're for this person, we're Democrats, we're doing this, we're blah, 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 blah. And I would look at it and I go, well, that makes sense. I get it. Okay, blah, blah. But it's not like, oh my God, now I'm going to torch you. I don't feel like it's my group anymore. And that's sad because I feel like my group is tolerant for real. My group is pro-human rights, pro-religious rights, I feel like that is my group.
Pro-people.
Pro-people and not pretending like we're tolerant. You can't say you're a tolerant person if you only are tolerant with people you agree with.
Of course.
I think that's sort of the opposite.
Kirstie Alley really was a tolerant person in the deepest and truest sense. She was a lover of people and of animals and nature and of life itself. She was an appreciator. Kirstie Alley passed away in Tampa yesterday at the age of 71. And while we have no doubt at all that she was not afraid as she left, we're sad that she did. Kirstie Alley, rest in peace. Well, you may recall that this year the Biden administration planned to launch a disinformation board. Now we're learning a lot more about what they plan to do and, in fact, have done to censor the speech of American citizens. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri has obtained new documents from DHS and joins us tonight to reveal them. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. What did you learn about the disinformation board?
Well, what we learned, Tucker, is that there's collusion at the highest levels of government and big tech. We learned that the disinformation board was up and running as early as the first part of this year. They were meeting weekly. That's not, by the way, what Alejandro Mayorkas said, by the way. He said that, oh, no, the board never met. Not true. They were meeting on a weekly basis. They were giving instructions to other components of the U.S. government, and they were meeting with big tech. They wanted to meet with Twitter. They reached out to Facebook, and liberal dark money groups were also in on the act, as it turns out, giving the board ideas, instructions about how to shape policy. So here's the bottom line, Tucker. You've got a powerful arm of the United States government trying to tell big tech who to censor, what to do. You've got liberal dark money groups who are also pulling the strings. It's an incredible picture of collusion.
Well, it's totally illegal. I mean, the U.S. government cannot, as the government, censor political speech. I mean, that's the one thing they can't do. How are they doing this?
They're doing it by coercing private companies to do it. And you're exactly right, Tucker. And by the way, the Supreme Court has been clear on this. The Supreme Court has said the U.S. government cannot go to private actors and coerce them to do things that the government couldn't do on its own under the Constitution. But Tucker, that is exactly what the Biden administration has been doing. They've been pressuring private companies and really colluding with them to censor domestic speech, to censor American citizens' political speech on everything from COVID to mask mandates to CRT to the war in Ukraine. All of it, Biden has been trying to control through the government.
It just tells you the next time there's some national panic and you're required to believe something, it's almost certainly a lie. And I really appreciate your, reporting on this that the New York Times should be doing but didn't. Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, thank you.
Thank you.
So the other day, our friend Candace Owens asked a simple and pretty revealing question on social media. Why do men use Botox and lip injections? And people had a heart attack, but it's still a fair question. Like, why not ask that question? People didn't used to look like Joe Biden, but they do now. Is that okay? Candace Owens joins us after the break.
We're here today right outside Colorado Springs
to welcome home DT and his family here in the beautiful smart home that the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has just completed.
I got hurt December 2005 in Afghanistan. And that day, we're out on a mission and we crossed this creek and I got hit by an IED while I was in my truck. I popped the door, I jumped out, but when I jumped out, I was on fire from head to toe. That was December 4th, 2005. I wake up March of 2006. Today, we're in my home that Tunnel Tower built for me. Tunnel Towers help family members of fallen service members and first responders by paying off their mortgage. And when it comes to the severely wounded service members, they build them a mortgage-free, adaptive smart home. So a smart home is someone that's disabled like myself, kind of makes their lives a little easier. The thought that I don't have to worry about paying a mortgage. Because a lot of us, especially severely wounded guys, our job opportunity is limited.
We're asking all Americans to donate $11 a month. This is where your money's going, and this is what we're doing with it.
Wishing you joy, good health, and prosperity in your new home. $11 a month really makes an impact, and I'm proof of it.
There is no words to express, how grateful we are.
Some of us came back, some of us didn't. And some of us that did come back, came back just a little bit different. And thank God for organizations like Tunnel Towers. They're able to be there to help us when we need it.
Imagine trying to eat 31 different kinds of produce in a single day. That is literally what you get with Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Balance of Nature selects the highest quality fruits and vegetables and turns them into a powder using an advanced cold drying process. With nothing else added, the powder is encapsulated, making it an on-the-go solution to getting the phytonutrients your body needs.
The formula that we have, it is not just fruits and vegetables. I do take a little bit of offense to that sometimes, because it's just thousands of hours studying how to put those fruits and vegetables in what order and how they could be processed. You have an unlimited number of chemical combinations that have zero negative side effects and only help and improve the body.
As a special holiday offer, get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice with your first preferred order. Use discount code Fox News.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening.
Full results from the Georgia runoff and the very latest from Twitter's new era of transparency. We'll check in with Marco Rubio. Kevin McCarthy react tonight right here on Hannity.
Introducing Analon X, the only non-stick cookware engineered for flavor. Make it exquisite with our patented SearTech surface that holds oil in the center of the pan and caramelizes like cast iron. Make it delicious with our thick edge-to-edge steel base that retains heat and sears evenly. Make it with cookware designed to bring out every nuance and every flavor. Get 30% off plus free shipping at AnalonX.com.
Hi, William Devane here. It's the Medicare annual enrollment period, and this year it's simple. 1. Before the deadline, call the number at the bottom of your screen. 2. Check your zip code for a Medicare Advantage plan with $0 premiums, prescriptions, dental care, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. 3. You'll find out what you're eligible for. The annual enrollment period has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
I called to find a plan that covers more of my dental expenses.
I call every year to make sure my doctor is still in my plan.
I call to see if my zip code has a plan with the benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I call every year.
Call to find out the changes to your plan and see if you're eligible for anything new. The annual enrollment period has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-516-2500. That's 1-800-516-2500 now.
There have been developments in the Georgia Senate race we're going to go live to for the rest of the show in just a minute. But first, we just thought this was interesting and worth addressing. So Candace Owens raised a pretty relevant question the other day on social media and got a huge response. She wrote this: serious question for men. Do you think that the Botox filler fake lips look attractive? Now, that's a real question, because all of a sudden everybody in power has fake faces. Nancy Pelosi looks like Michael Jackson, not being mean, but it's true. The governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, clearly keeping Botox stock afloat single-handedly, and then men are in on it too. What part of Joe Biden is still real? None. Jeff Bezos, completely transformed by this stuff. So we thought we would ask Candace Owens, like, what's going on here? Is this a sign of something deeper, a deeper fakeness infecting our leadership class? Candace Owens is, of course, the host of the Candace Owens Show. We're happy to have her now. Okay, so Candace, you address the most sensitive topics in American life, race, religion, like you're not afraid of anything. But this got a huge response. Why?
Oh, man, Botox Gate. I was very surprised. I landed myself in a puddle of uh-oh, and I'm laughing out loud now because I can never look at that photo of Nancy's eyebrows and not chuckle to myself. But yeah, I've been very curious, and I cover this on my podcast all the time, talking about our psychological immune system, meaning that we're constantly looking at all of these digital toxins. We scroll through our phones on social media, and then we suddenly start emulating the behavior that we see. Case in point, wear a mask, save lives. Now people are suddenly masking their children and won't go outside. Where an element of that is that you go on social media and everybody's starting to look the same. It's like Avatar. It's very bizarre. And I'm not against people that want to get Botox and nip and tuck. I don't personally do it, but I was curious if men found this new face that everyone has decided upon to be attractive. And boy, was I met with so much heat from women. I have a close friend of mine who gets Botox. She said, Candace, you're launching a war on us white women. How dare you? This is what we have to do. I realize that some topics, Tucker, are in fact too sensitive, and I would like to apologize to all of my fans and listeners, and I will leave your Botox and your filler alone, but we should investigate what is happening to Nancy's eyebrows.
Well, I agree with that, but and everyone is starting to look the same, and that's a really insightful observation, which never occurred to me. But men? I don't want to be judgy, everyone does his own thing or whatever, but it's a little bit, there's something a little bit awful about that, is there not?
Well, I'll tell you what's awful about it. The first thing is that men age like fine wine. Men actually get better as they age. It's just a fact. A man at 20 is not going to look as good as a man at 45. So it's really bizarre that they're trying to hold on to their youth when women prefer older guys, when they start to get gray hair and things of that nature. And yet they too are being impacted by this psychological immune system on Instagram, and everybody's starting to look the same. It's very hard to tell the difference between a trans man and a woman that's been getting a lot of work. And this is just where we're at today. And I wanted to open the conversation and say, hey, it's possible to just like your face and to age gracefully. And I learned that people are not ready yet to have that conversation.
I agree. I never got any plastic surgery until I turned 65, and then I was like, I have no choice. Just kidding. Candace, it's great to see you tonight. Thank you for that. We have a Fox News alert for you. Herschel Walker has now taken the lead in the Georgia Senate runoff. 60% of the vote is in. He's pulled ahead of the incumbent Democrat Raphael Warnock by several thousand votes. Bill Hemmer rejoins us from the big board to tell us what's happening. Hey, Bill.
Hi, good evening again. We got a horse race here, Tucker. There is no doubt about it. Right now, just a tick before 9 o'clock East Coast time, you got about 2/3 of the estimated vote in at 64%. A difference in raw votes here of just shy of 50,000, now at 50,000 between Walker and Warnock. I can canvass this map, Tucker. I can take you to multitude of different counties and give you a good story for Herschel Walker, or I could flip it around and show you good news for Raphael Warnock. So why don't we start here now? And Tucker, what I think is going to happen here, I just wanted you to see something here. This is where we are right now between the red and blue. This is where we were 4 weeks ago. Right? Do you see much of a difference? Do you see how subtle that is? A few more set to fill in here, but right now we're not even sure if any of the counties have even flipped for one side or the other based on 4 weeks ago. So let's go to Fulton County here. This is Atlanta, Georgia. A lot of the vote is still outstanding here. Just about half of it's accounted for. 1 out of 159 counties. I'll pop over here to Gwinnett County, population ranked 2 out of 159. Just a tick below 60% of the vote in here. This is Cobb County. Big numbers of people living in this part of Georgia. You're just at 50% right now, 3 out of 159. So how's Warnock and Walker doing? As of right now, in a place like Cobb County. I'll take you 4 weeks ago to today and look at the percentage for Warnock. Okay, so that tells me that Herschel Walker has room to run, literally, in Cobb County, because the early vote was counted first. Remember, that was the early in-person vote over the past week and a half. But Warnock, again, 4 weeks ago, ended up just shy of 57%. He's outperforming that right now. But again, you got a lot of the votes still out here in Cobb County. Conversely, I can take this and get out of metro Atlanta. Remember, the 16 major counties that make up the Atlanta area, heavily blue in parts. And I can come down to, well, let's just pick one around here, okay? This is Pierce County. Look, it's about halfway, 88 out of 159. Not a ton of people live there. This is what Walker is doing with almost the entire vote in there. And 4 weeks ago, he was right around that same number. So as we go around this map here, Tucker, I'll tell you this. Going to be a long night in Georgia. I think so, because we've got a horse race on our hands so far in the Peach State, Tucker. We'll see you later.
You'll be watching.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
Bill Hemmer, great to see you. So some of us have given up trying to predict election outcomes after the midterms last month, but others understand American politics, and Ned Ryan is one of those. He's CEO of American Majority. He grew up with politics, and he joins us to assess what we're watching. Ned, thanks for joining us. What are we seeing here?
Absolutely.
You think?
Well, I think we're obviously seeing all the early votes have come in. I think, as Bill pointed out, I guess my real question, Mark Tucker, is how are these Atlanta counties, how many votes are still left? Obviously, they're going to favor Warnock over Walker. I have my doubts. I have real concerns that the remaining votes coming in favor Warnock. Again, though, as you just mentioned, I've kind of given up a little bit on political procrastination because, boy, it's hard to really call some of these races. But, you know, it looks like it's going to be tight one way or the other. But I got to tell you, I'm not optimistic about Walker holding on right now.
So let me ask you, since you do know a lot about the mechanics of these things, you know a lot about how the parties work. The get out the vote operation that the Democrats put into effect last month was pretty unbelievable, you know, whether it was legit or not or whatever. They really did a lot of get out the vote. Are the Republicans doing that in Georgia?
I have my doubts that they are near as good as the Democrats. The thing that troubles me, Tucker, is we used to be really good at this. We used to be good at absentee ballot chasing. We used to be good at all the ballot out, ballot in stuff that the Democrats have beaten us at. And I've got real concerns that we have not probably been able to match them in Georgia. And I think that's a real concern going forward. I think unless we actually figure out the ballot out, ballot in machine before 2024, I would question strongly whether we can win Michigan or Pennsylvania or Georgia or Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arizona, or Nevada. And I think we've got a lot of work to do. And I think that calls into question. If Walker cannot pull it out tonight, and it's yet another loss for Republicans, I think we have to have real change of leadership inside the party, especially at the RNC, and actually commit to some of these ballot out, ballot in machine things that I think are lacking right now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like an unsolvable math problem to me. Ned, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tucker.
So a lot of people in the media took money from FTX, the scam, and Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy who ran the scam, as Sam Bankman-Fried defrauded countless innocent investors. Ben Smith at the news website Semaphore took millions and millions from Sam Bankman-Fried. The question is, will Ben Smith give the money back? We're going to investigate that for tomorrow's show.